Pokemon Sword and Shield's Crown Tundra DLC released in October of 2020, which was almost 6 years ago. And as a part of my Switch Lock series, I'm going to Nuzlocke it. But real quick, I just want to thank everybody so much for 200 subscribers. I know that it is not a lot compared to other YouTubers in the genre, especially since I've been doing it for 3 years, but your support still means a lot and I couldn't get this far without you guys, so thank you. Before I actually started on the Crown Tundra, you know, the whole premise of the episode, I decided that I wanted to catch the rest of my encounters in the Isle of Armor that I could not in the previous episode. The first one to be caught was a Ditto in the Workout Sea who was able to transform into my own Cinderace. I thought that was kind of funny and noteworthy. In Challenge Beach, I could not find any Pokemon in the tall grass that I have not caught already, so I settled for a Dedenne in the overworld. In Stepping Stone Sea, I fished up a Wishy-Washy, and in Insular Sea, I shook a tree for an Applin, which I plan on saving for Pokemon Violet. In Honeycomb Island, I was lucky enough to encounter a female Combi, and I was really grateful for this, because the male Combi are all a bunch of useless tools, just like men in real life. I skipped my Honeycomb Sea encounter because there was no grass for me to encounter anything in, and for my last encounter in Courageous Cavern, I went ahead and caught a Choodle. Now with all of my Isle of Armor encounters all wrapped up, it was time to finally travel to the Crown Tundra. Upon arriving, I walked into what seems like a daughter not wanting to spend time with her dad. Which reminds me, I battled the father, whose name is Peony. It turns out that this is the only mandatory trainer fight in this whole DLC. Cinderace was able to shoot Pokeballs at Peony's team like he was Prime Ronaldo. During the battle, Peony's daughter, Peonia, ran out to do some Dynamax adventures, so Peony and I follow her. Along the way, I encounter a Smoochum in the slippery slopes. I prepared to do whatever this Dynamax adventure was, and in the end, I fought a Dynamax Suicune. Using my rental Grimmsnarl, I was able to wear down its health and caught it in a netball. After returning from the adventure and seeing that Peonia was alright, I come to see that Peony himself was unconscious on the floor, so and got put on his back. Deciding he liked me enough, he decided to let me spend my time at his place in Freezington. There, he invites me to his team and even gets me a new fit for the cold winter. I did notice a weird piece of whatever that is on Peony's table, but I decided it's not worth much thought. Peony gave me 3 adventures to go on, alongside some clues on how to record my findings. In the Frostpoint field, I encounter Jr., which I immediately evolve into a Galarian Mr. Mime and then Mr. Rhyme. In the Giant's Bed, I encounter a Dewpider, and further into the Giant's Bed, I find a temple and report it to Peony, who calls this first adventure the Terrible Titans Lurking Locked Away. In the Old Cemetery, I was able to encounter a Dragapult in the overworld, partially because I was not paying attention to my surroundings. I was able to catch it, and was not complaining at all about it because at the end of the day, Dragapult itself is a really good Pokemon. In the Giant's Foot, I encountered a Cufant and a Carbink in the Roaring Sea Cave. In Ballymere Lake, I encountered a Yamper and then a Carkol in the Lakeside Cave. In the middle of Ballymere Lake, I found this really massive tree, and I was clearly not the only one here, because I saw the Galarian forms of Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. I would have gotten a better look at them, but then...
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Peony called, alerting the birds and making them flee. Peony called the second adventure the Legendary Tree of the Legendary 3. Yeah, really smart naming scheme there, buddy. I was now tasked with finding all of the legendary birds, Articuno in the Crown Tundra, Zapdos in the Wilds area, and Moltres in the Isle of Armor. I went for Zapdos first in the Wilds area, because finding it wasn't really much trouble. It just ran around like the goddamn Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. Moltres was not that much trouble either, it just flew over the water. Articuno was also really easy, it just made duplicates of itself, and I had to choose the real one, which I did. Catching them all was no issue, unless you count the distance it took to get to their spots. I decided to get some more encounters, like a Bagon in the Tunnel to the Top, a Hatena in the Frigid Sea, and a Bergmite in the 3-Point Pass. I also would have caught a Beldum in the Snowslide Slope, but I could not catch it due to it not getting in any of my Pokeballs, combined with the hail killing it. I also could not catch anything in the Path to the Peak because it was all just Snom and Frosmoth, which I already have. Well, time to do the Legendary Titan stuff from earlier. It basically all just boiled down to catching the original 3 Titan Pokemon, Regice, Regirock, and Registeel. I caught them all and named them Ice Wall, Rock Wall, and Steel Wall respectively. The final Titan was a new addition to this DLC, the electric type Regieleki, which I named Wally West because it was fast, and it fit the wall naming scheme that I already had going on. Back at Peony's place, curiosity got the better of me and I asked him about the odd thing on his table, and he reveals it as his pillow. Alright, I guess. I asked to borrow it and he lets me, and I put it on the statue. And I see some weird deer thing in the bushes, so I walk up to it and fight it, one-shotting it with Score. Peony comes to see what the ruckus was about, and he gets possessed on the spot. The deer introduces himself as Calyrex and asks for my help to truly restore its power, alongside people's faith in it. Believing this could help, he envisions 2 crop sites that will grow carrots that will help attract his loyal steed. I go to the crop site by the cemetery and plant a carrot and witness Calyrex's steed, Spectrier, race to Freezington. We fight and beat it, saving an elderly woman in the process. Calyrex grows a petal, and with a tuft of hair from Spectrier, a non-possessed Peony weaves a Rain of Unity. At the Crown Shrine, we place a Shade Root carrot, and we sit and wait with Calyrex, who's still possessing Peony at this point. Spectrier comes, and Peony and I witness Calyrex use their Rains of Unity, allowing him to be able to tame the steed once more. He is now finally able to use his full power. As thanks, he lets me catch himself as well as Spectrier. And now I have 2 legendary Pokemon in one. Now that I completed all of Peony's adventures, he thanks me for the time spent and he goes off to spend more time with Peonia in max rated adventures. And the last thing I did was get a gift Cosmog in Freezington that you could only get once beating the main DLC story. And with that, the entirety of Pokemon Sword and Shield is done. After 5 whole episodes of the Switch Lock spent in Galar, I can now finally move on to the next game of the series, which is BDSP. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more videos, and I will see you next time.